Welcome to the South Asian Health Show. I'm your host, Rina Gill. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is a very special episode, very much long overdue, with a friend of mine and a very well-established individual. Lopa Sarkar is a choreographer and a performer with over 30 years of experience in world dance forms. She is also an executive coach and life coach intuitive counselor. Welcome, Lopa. Thank you for joining me today.
So good to finally catch up with you, Rina.
I know we've been talking about doing this for over a year.
So long.
Finally, we've got the opportunity to do it, and we have so much to catch up on. Firstly, Lopa, I was sharing this with you earlier. One of the things I admire about you the most is the fact that you are such a creative, artsy type personality, but then you've got such a strong business analytical side to you as well, which is very rare. I come across so many individuals in all spectrums of life, and it's very rare that I find people that are both right brain, left brain. I personally, of course, you already know this, I'm more right brain. I wish I was more of a balance, but you, my friend, are a perfect balance of the two. And today I'm so excited to talk to you about your love for the arts and how you've intertwined that with your new business.
Thanks. I'm excited to speak to you about all this.
So let's start off with the fact that you have an MBA, you work in the arts, you own a performing arts company. Tell us about how you work with other creative entrepreneurs.
So I think, as you mentioned, sometimes it's really rare to find people who have that business acumen and that creative side to them. And back when I lived in London, one of the programs I oversaw at the university I worked at was a creative entrepreneurs incubator. And it's really exciting for me to help creatives understand how to turn their creative skills into a business and a sustainable commercial business. So that's something I just get really excited about. And it's really exciting when creative people understand that like what they offer the world is of value and they deserve to be paid well for it. And so I do a lot of like marketing work, branding work, identifying their clients and how they can structure their business so that they're doing the creative work that they really love, but they're actually making a sustainable profit.
It's so funny, Lopa. As you're talking, I'm thinking about this whole stereotype of the starving artist.
Yeah, that's so old.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly. And it's like that whole like career choice, right? That, you know, we come from the South Asian community, and this might be prevalent in other communities as well, but we are South Asian. So let's speak about our community that once upon a time for a child to go to their parents and say that they'd like to pursue a career in arts, whether it be singing, dancing, playing an instrument, it was kind of frowned upon. So the fact that there is a way to combine the arts and be business savvy and run a successful business, that's music to my ears.
Yeah. And I think our culture is changing, but it's, you know, the previous generations, they still want to hear us say, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an engineer, I'm going to be a lawyer, okay, I'll do accounting. And breaking through that takes a lot of courage and fortitude and really being true to your authentic self. And that's something that, you know, I do work with a lot of people on, and it's exciting for me to see that future generations are kind of breaking through that and going for creative careers and, you know, working in the creative industries. And so it's exciting because like South Asian culture is so rich, and to bring that out to everybody, to bring that into the mainstream and share it, like, I think it's really important.
So it is back to school season, and you yourself have worked with young people and businesses and career programs. And I was just wondering, like, when it comes to coaching young people, how do you approach it?
Yeah, I think like what we just spoke about is actually really important to get them to really think about what do they want to do? What industry do they want to work in? And when I used to live in London, England, and worked for the Mayor of London, I worked on this business career education program. And it was all about teaching young kids that like the world of work is so different now. And there's jobs that exist now that didn't exist 5 or 10 years ago. And letting them know, like make informed choices for their education and their future. And to know that like for some people actually, people are going to get mad at me, going to university is not the thing, right? And I know
you said it, girl. I have to jump in. I did a joint program York University, Seneca College, 5-year degree program, 2-year college program. Wow. The money, the time, that's all I can say. It was a lot. It
I
was
did
a lot.
10
In
years.
retrospect, it's valuable in so many ways. But I also look at it like I could have gotten into the work industry 5 years sooner had I not pursued post-secondary. So you never know.
Yeah, and that's just it. And for a lot of careers, that is actually often the better route for people. But it's really scary to go home and tell your family that, you know what, I actually don't think university is for me. So yeah, that's a lot of the work I do with young people, is really talking to them about, where do you see yourself? What industry do you see yourself in? Because a lot of it is about getting into the right industry and then finding the path that's going to be for you.
So Lopa, you're trained in executive coaching, life coaching, and intuitive counseling. The latter it's the first time I'm hearing this, actually. So what are the differences in these areas?
Yeah, so the way I see it is like, it's almost like if you look at it on a spectrum, you've got executive coaching here, and you've got intuitive counseling here, and in the middle is kind of where life coaching sits. So executive coaching is very, in some senses, it's very corporate. It can be very focused on your career, your leadership skills, where you see your career going, how to make career changes, how to ask for a salary that you want, how to lead a team, how to completely switch industries. Intuitive counseling is it is the complete opposite. It's very much about, it's very holistic. It's very about going deep inside, looking at your emotions, looking at your feelings. It can move into the psychic realm, shall we say. And life coaching is kind of where you meet in the middle, where you're looking at very practical, logical things, but you're kind of bringing in your intuition and your feelings and all those little voices you hear that sometimes you ignore. And so it's kind of wide spectrum. And I mean, I do say most of my work sits in the executive coaching to life coaching part of the spectrum, but there are some clients that are very comfortable going to the complete other end. And so I kind of live on that spectrum.
So we've already touched a little bit on the South Asian community, but what can you tell us about working with the South Asian community, specifically first generation Canadians, with immigrant parents?
It's about, like what we talked about breaking through the cultural norms that we have grown up with and that we've been told make us a good South Asian child. And so it could be about making choices that are just completely against what your parents want you to be doing. Living in
Lopa told me that's what they're going to start. So they're going to start saying to their parents, well,
we heard Lopa say this, so it's true. I'm going to get emails from all the parents. Stop telling these things to my kids. They're not true. But that is what it is. It's about living an authentic life, right? And it's about integrating the two. Like, we have been brought up on cultural beliefs that really are beautiful, right? But we've also been raised in North America, Europe, where we've absorbed other cultural norms. And it's about blending the two to build a life that is true to me or true to you. And so that's really the big thing, how to have those difficult conversations. What do you really believe versus what you've been told by your parents and your community that maybe no longer serves you? And breaking through all that noise and getting down to what's authentically you.
A big part of health and wellness is recognizing what these stress triggers are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not in the right career where you feel fulfilled and you feel happy and you feel passionate about waking up every morning and doing your work, going to your job, this is what causes stress. Stress then leads to medical health conditions. Yeah. And so for us, this is one aspect of life that we definitely need to acknowledge, that if we don't make the right decisions, if we don't have a professional like yourself guiding us, that we can potentially end up in a situation where we're just not happy and potentially getting stressed out about it, because let's face it, we've got bills to pay. Some people get caught up in the hustle bustle of day-to-day life that they have to work. I don't want to say a dead-end job, but they have to work in a career that they're not happy with, and they don't see a way to transition, which brings me to the fact that we just got through, hopefully 100%, we are getting through a pandemic that's gone on for 2.5, 3 years. And So many people were put in a position where they had to pivot, make career changes. So, what can you tell us? What have you experienced with your clients who have made career changes throughout this time period?
Yeah, everything you just spoke about is exactly what has been coming to the table in my sessions right now, because people have had the time to really sit and realize that, you know what, this is not what I want. And before the pandemic, I had a lot of people who'd come to me kind of in their 40s, even 50s, saying, that's it. Like, take me out of banking, take me out of, whatever it is I'm working in. I need to go do something else. But with the pandemic, even more so. And the big thing that I speak to my clients about is, like, what are your values? And is your career reflecting your values? And if it's not, like, let's align that. And how does your role, your current role, how are you doing work that aligns with what matters to you? So that, because, we spend like over 8 hours at work sometimes, right? Even if it's sitting in our living room, it's still that time of our day. And if it's not aligned with what really matters to you, you can really start to feel really empty and dark inside. So I actually have a lot of clients right now who are transitioning into other industries, into other roles, taking some time off even, and really assessing what they want to do next. And I think that's important. Like, just because you start off here, it doesn't mean you have to keep going down this path. There are so many paths that are open, and people really now recognize that you have transferable skills. So just because you've been in one industry, you absolutely do not have to stay in that industry. And I actually think it's really exciting. Like, my clients, they get these new jobs and they're so excited, and it's like they've come back to life. And I think that's really important, to feel like you're doing something that matters to you.
I'm going to ask you a tough question right now because I'm so curious.
Yeah.
Coming from an arts background, I have seen you perform at so many different events and festivals. You are an amazing dancer. You completely light up the stage, Lopa, and even through your dance academy, you teach others this wonderful art form of dancing. If you had to choose, Lopa, between your passion for dancing and your passion for the arts versus your passion for business and being an entrepreneur and everything you're doing with executive coaching and life coaching, if you had to choose one, what would it be?
You know what? I couldn't choose. Like, my personality would not allow me to choose one. And actually, like, the three passions, well, I have many passions, but three things that I've always loved is dance, coaching, and makeup. I'm trained as a makeup artist. I used to work for MAC Cosmetics for many years. And I've actually combined the three. And I have a program called Elements where I work with people, and we bring in all three aspects: dance, coaching, and makeup, styling, all that kind of stuff. And it's because to me, it's all creative. And that's what's exciting. And if you said to pick one, I don't actually know if I could. Like, what keeps me on my toes and keeps me excited is the various things that I do and how they all intersect each other. And like I said, if you're going to run a performing arts company, that is a business. Like, you are a business person. So it all intersects. And I'm going to avoid your question by saying I wouldn't.
I was trying to put you on the spot, Lopa. I was trying to put you on the spot.
Try, Rina, try.
I totally understand your answer. And, if the viewers out there, if they're curious to know, like, say they've never worked with a life coach or executive coach before, walk us through the steps that if any of our viewers are interested in connecting with you, what does that look like? Is there a consultation, a discovery call? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I always suggest to clients is to go to my website, which is lifecoachlopasarkar.com. And the reason is, you get a feel for me, you get a feel for my personality and how I work and how, what I'm like. And then once they've read through that, if they feel like I'm a good match for them, we can set up about a 20-minute call. And it's a chance for them to ask me questions, and for me also to speak to them and make sure that I feel like I'm the right coach for them. And then our first session will kind of cover, I do send an intake form that kind of gives me like a whole 360 on your life. And then it's really client led. Like, the big thing about coaching is that I am here to take you on your journey. So I do not have a predetermined path that we're going to take. You set that path, and I'm just here to support that. And so no one's journey is going to be like anybody else's. But it's about kind of looking at, what are your beliefs? Where are you stuck? Where are you holding yourself back? Where in your life can we make changes that are going to bring you relief and happiness and fulfillment? And sometimes those are really big changes, and sometimes they're really small, minute little changes. And it's about having someone outside of your situation be able to reflect that back to you in a different way that makes you look at things differently.
And although, Lopa, you are very much immersed in different communities, not just the South Asian community, so anybody obviously can work with you and hire you as an executive coach or life coach. When it comes to the South Asian community specifically, I'm super excited that we will be bringing the Ontario South Asian Health Expo back in the very near future. And
Yay.
although we featured your article in our magazine, I'm looking forward to having the event come back and possibly having you as a vendor so that people can come to the event and actually meet with you as well and maybe chit chat with you and get to know more about you. And as far as social media is concerned, where can people find you?
They can always find me usually at Lopa Sarkar. I'm very easily found. And I think what you said about speaking is really important. Like when people are picking a coach, it's really important to pick someone who makes you feel comfortable, who makes you feel excited, who makes you feel safe. And if you know anyone out there who's looking for a coach, don't feel like you can't invest the time to really find the person that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like this is the person I want to let into my world, let into my deepest, secrets, thoughts. Everything's confidential in coaching. So anything I speak to a client about is never repeated. And it's important that people find someone that makes them feel like they're safe in that space.
Awesome. I'm so happy, Lopa. We finally did it.
We finally did it, Rina.
Talk about like waiting and being patient and finding the right time. You know what? I'm a firm believer. Everything happens at the right time for the right reasons. I think this is it. I think back to school season is here. I think for any students, any young people out there, even whatever age group you're in, if you're thinking of, course correcting, changing, your career, pivoting, whatever you might be doing, please consider hiring Lopa as your executive coach or life coach. You can visit her at her website, find out more information about her. And Lopa, give us your website one more time.
Lifecoachlopasarkar.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Lopa, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, and let's chat soon in the next few months.
Awesome. Thanks, Rina.
Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for the next episode of the South Asian Health Show. Bye-bye.
Bye.